Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is J.J. Griego, the new head coach at Socorro High School. And J.J., congratulations on your new job.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it.
You know, J.J., I know it's kind of a shock to, I mean, it was a shock to me. I know you and I go back a long time, and all of a sudden, why now? I guess that's the big question. Well, why now? Why?
Steve, honestly, it was kind of a shock to me. I got approached by some board members and the AD, and I thought about it. I actually halfway went down to kind of let them down and tell them I wasn't going to take it. And then I realized how much that community has given to me. And when I did a hemp farm there last year, I really enjoyed being back home. And to be able to give back to these kids, especially in the world that we're in now, and hopefully give back some knowledge and give back some credibility to the high school as far as the basketball program is concerned. I'm really looking forward. I've been out of coaching for about 7 or 8 years now, and I've always missed it. So going to enjoy getting back and working with the kids.
Well, you're well known in Socorro and the state of New Mexico. You play at the University of New Mexico, but let's go back to 1998 real quick, kind of reminisce about that year.
Oh, good Lord. I wish it was 1998. Steve, it's 1988.
Oh, 1988. Oh, I messed up. Oh, shit. I was making you look good there.
Yeah, you made me look really good or really bad. One of the two. I have 10 more years to age. Yeah, you know, back then we lost in the state finals and had a great team. Should have done some things different, missed it. And then in my senior year, '89, we got matched up with the #1 team in the state, which was Bernalillo, and we were #1. We were #2. They were #1. We ended up playing in Tingley, went into overtime, maybe double overtime, and just lost our legs. And Lovington got us in the semifinals. So we never got to the state championship.
Well,
again,
it opened up the eyes of UNM, though, correctly. I mean, all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, between my freshman year, my sophomore year, and my junior year, I improved enough that I had several universities looking at me, and UNM was one of them. And you know, it's funny. The first scholarship offer to me was from UTEP down in Texas, El Paso. The Bear gave me my first offer, and I ended up staying up here.
Well, we have something in common. That was when I was playing too. The Bear offered me a scholarship too, and I actually went down there and got a tour of the UTEP, and the memories are still vivid in my mind. Talking with the Bear, and that's just something that you'll. And the word intimidation might be a good word there.
Yeah, you'll never forget it. You know, it's like, you know, I met Mike Krzyzewski once, about 12, 13 years ago. And it's kind of the same thing. You know, you're kind of in awe because, you know, it was the Bear, and Coach Haskins he knew how to do things. And back then they had Tim Hardaway, Antonio Davis, Greg Foster. They had 3 or 4, maybe even 5 pro players on there. And it was just an honor to have that offer. Looking back on it now, to see that I could have played with, and we played against teams of that caliber, just incredible. And we had guys that were just as good as well.
Well, let's speak about some of those guys. Let's reminisce a little bit about those guys. So, I mean, everybody's loves to hear about the Lobos, but
yeah, you think about it. I mean, even back then, I mean, we had. I played with Luke Longley, of course. Played with Rob Robbins, Marvin McBurrows, and that's how I kind of got started at UNM. And then we'd go down and play Timmy Hardaway and those guys, and we beat them down there my freshman year. And then as the years went on, you know, I played with Charles Smith, Greg Brown, some other guys that got their pro shots, and it was really an honor to play with those guys. And now, of course, Greg Brown's the head coach at Albuquerque High, his alma mater.
Yeah, and it's his first head coaching job too. So that's kind of neat, off the same team. And you know, talk about, you've told me some stories. You got to go to the NIT, and a lot of people haven't gotten to New York and got to talk about that experience. Talk about your college experience, a little bit about UNM, what it has done for you, and any athletes that are thinking about going to UNM, what it does afterwards.
Well, I'll tell you what, UNM is very unique in the fact that you know, we're kind of known throughout the state, or at least we were back then, and it was a very unique situation. We had, you know, ever since then, there's times I'm in Roswell, I'm in Artesia, I'm up north in Pewaukee or somewhere up there in Santa Fe, and that people just always recognize you. You know, JJ Griego, and I wasn't one of the star players by any means. We had some guys that were really, really good. And I think I only started 3 or 4 games my whole career, but I was always that 6th, 7th man coming in. And, you know, to this day, this community, and I'm not talking just Socorro and just Albuquerque, but the community of the state of New Mexico has embraced everything, embraced me my whole life and my whole career. So I really do appreciate that. Ever since then, I've gone on. I'm a CPA, an accountant, and received my accounting and finance degree from UNM. And ever since, I've been working in the community, trying to give up it back as much as possible. Again, I coached boys basketball and girls basketball up until about probably around 2008, 2010 probably.
10 years after you graduated there? So
yeah, a few years after I graduated. And then haven't done it since, but I've always wanted to. I actually was the head JV coach at St. Pius in 1999.
Well, I tell you, you know, it's funny, our careers are similar. I was a 6th man. I think I started probably 3 games in my whole career at UNM. But somebody had told me, a guy named Norman Day had told me when I was coming to UNM, because you were just similar to I guess you were recruited by Texas Tech, probably Texas Tech. You were probably recruited by New Mexico State and also UTEP, and it was the same in the same area. And they recruited very hard because it was good to get a local person in the area. Well, he basically said, Steve, if you sign with UNM, you know, even if you don't play 1 minute, I mean, the advertisement is priceless. It'll be worth, you know, just being part of UNM. And I think, you know, as a recruiting tool, you're a perfect example is what UNM has done for both of us. Is if we could have changed our whole life if we went to a different.
Absolutely. You know, I do some work down in El Paso, and I watched. You know, UTEP is very similar in that manner too. It just, you know, at UTEP it wasn't the whole state; it was more localized, but because Texas is so big and has so many universities. But you know, New Mexico is very unique in the fact that, you know, they love having the local kids and cheering them on.
Well, we're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week and come back and talk more about JJ Griego and also about Socorro being the new head coach at Socorro High School.
Absolutely.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. 1st and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell, look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers. Fired in the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wild catch. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
So they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have JJ Griego, the new head basketball coach at Socorro High School. And JJ, first day of practice. Give me that game plan.
Today is the first day of practice. I'm pretty excited. Of course, we don't kick off the practice until about 4:30, 4:15, 4:30, and just looking forward to getting out there and coaching in the new world. The new rules and requirements for the practices are pretty strict, and it's going to be interesting to see how we can get these kids to come together, be separate, but come together as a team.
Well, you can only practice so many times a week, is that correct?
Right. We're limited on the number of practices per week. We're limited on how many student athletes we can have in the gym at one time. We're limited as far as how many athletes and coaches can be at a single basket at one time. So, it's taken a little bit of creative thinking of how we're going to run practices, but we kind of used to do it the same way at UNM, and I'm sure a lot of coaches do it the same way. It's basically going to be you're going to do circuit drills and circuit training for the foreseeable future until the last few days. Hopefully, we'll be able to put in offense and everything else.
Well, with that being said, you have to build your program, and I guess I haven't talked with you. You have your assistants in line, and you got everything. The people that really that build your program, and that's how you build a program is with your assistant coaches.
Right, absolutely, and right now I am still looking for one assistant coach, just because I really would like to have someone that is interested in being a head coach someday and taking over for me and taking the program to the next level. It's very hard in today's time to find a young man or a young woman that is looking forward to being a head coach at some point in the near future, and hopefully getting them that tutelage so that they want to be in that New Mexico small town.
Expectations. I know you put high expectations on yourself. I know on you personally, but I'm just saying realistic expectations of what you want to do with the program and how you want to build this program over the next, say, 3 to 5 years.
Right. Well, I've been to a couple of games in the last 3 or 4 years, and really, I think we have to build it from the ground up. They've struggled. They've had probably 4 or 5 coaches in the last 6 or 7 years, and so Socorro basketball has struggled with regard to that, and that's another one of the reasons I wanted to help them out. But it's good. With the COVID and the pandemic, you're really going to have to run the practices and everything else almost like an AAU program, and keep everybody separate and just have limited time with them. And as you know, I did that for 10, 12 years, and so I know how to do that. And so we're going to build it from scratch. We're going to build our fundamentals, and we're going to go see from there. It's high school basketball. We're going to focus on the things that keep us in every game, and hopefully you have a shot at the end of the game.
Back to COVID a little bit. I think the thing about COVID is you really can't really talk to anybody to get. It's never happened before, and it's
right.
It's kind of a wait and see, and things change on a actually, if you want to say it, on a weekly basis, and being prepared for that. Really, there's no answer for that, and how do you deal with that since you've started being the head coach?
Well, I've only had the position for about 2 weeks, so things are changing daily.
So I hit that right on the head. I mean, it's every day. It kind of there's new dynamics.
Exactly, every day changes. And matter of fact, we didn't even finalize our practice times to start today until yesterday, because the governor, of course, came out and gave us our new parameters and stuff like that. And really didn't affect our practice schedule very much, but we did have to wait to hear what she said before we went forward. Just so we make sure that we're in compliance, make sure that the kids are safe, and the parents feel that the kids are safe.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, JJ, you want to be competitive. I guess is that the first thing, and then every coach, going back to Jimmy Joe when he first became the head coach. That's my head coach in Clovis, New Mexico, who won the state championship with Bubba Jennings and Nelson Franz. But when he came in, he set expectations. He said, "Well, I want to win the district tournament in 1 year. I want to, and then get to the state, make it to the state tournament, and then I want to build it to where the culture is there to win the state tournament." Is that something that of your mindset right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt that I don't have expectations to be in the state tournament and fight for the state tournament championship. That's what every coach should have an expectation for. Socorro has been in the state semifinals or finals for football in the last 2 or 3 years, so that they've really built the program up, and as a result, they have good kids that are athletic and strong, and we just need to feed off of that. As you know, in a small community, these athletes play both sports. They play basketball, they play football, they play baseball, and so we all have to work together to get the athletes their best chance at a competitive environment.
Well, that's something that, being a successful coach, you got to get along with the other coaches, and if everybody's working together, it seems like, and I use El Dorado, as a perfect example. It seems like the football coach he goes to the basketball games, and the basketball coach goes to football games, and Roy Sanchez and Dodson. It just seems like they really share their athletes as good as anybody I've seen in the city of Albuquerque. And in a smaller town, that's something that being back to that community is learning to share athletes.
Yes, I mean, it's unique, and it's incredibly good. I mean, if you look at Socorro in the last couple of years, the football teams have been very successful. The girls' soccer team has been very successful.
Great coach, by the way, Alcampo. He's done an unbelievable job what he's done.
Absolutely. Damian and I both played. He played when the football was good in Socorro, and I played when basketball was good in Socorro. And so, hopefully him and I can get together and put our heads together and make this thing work out for the best for all the kids and the community.
Well, JJ, we're going to go to a little break and come back and talk more about Socorro High School basketball and yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We have J.J. Griego here. Congratulations again, being the new head basketball coach at Socorro High School, and well deserved. I think you're a New Mexico guy. I mean,
Absolutely. And more than I'm a Socorro kid, and hopefully, like I said, I'm really looking forward to possibly giving back to the community. And my parents are getting any younger either, so it gives me an opportunity to spend a lot of time with them as well. I have an office set up in Socorro so that I can work from there. Of course, my CPA firm, and they've been I work with Beasley Mitchell and Company, and they've been very supportive and through everything this year with regards to everything from the pandemic to me taking on this position and just saying, go do it, and we can help you out however we can.
Well, I know you've been under great coaches your whole career, and talk about some of the things you're going to bring to the table that maybe old school, since you just graduated 10 years ago, and
Well, exactly. Thanks again, Steve. I think we're probably being a little bit more old school than our predecessors at the head coaching position there. I noticed last year that there's a lot of dribbling, there's a lot of those types of things, and we're really going to try and implement, passing the ball up the court. Everybody's pretty much the same size. We don't really have any 6'7" kids in Socorro. There's a couple 6'4" kids, and we'll utilize them to.
I heard Justin has a year of eligibility. I heard he still has another year.
I'm not eligible anymore, Steve. I'm eligible for AARP more than I am to play basketball anymore.
Oh, okay. but back to more of your philosophy. Go into detail about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, we're gonna keep everything very basic, especially this year. With the limited practice time and everything else, we're going to work on basics. We're going to work on good, solid defense, good, solid rebounding. There's no secret. I mean, we're going to keep our offense simple and try to, outplay hustle teams because that's what we're going to have to do with this truncated schedule.
So basically, you're going to touch
me coming in new and trying to give them a bunch of plays that. Giving them a playbook that is just outside of a comprehension, or because they have to just look at it on a piece of paper, doesn't really do us any good. We're going to have to keep it simple.
So basically what you're saying is you're just going to go back to old-fashioned fundamentals and really work on the fundamentals and then work the progress as fit during the season.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a choice. I mean, as far as I see it, we're going to have to go back to the basics, and because I'm learning the kids, they're learning about me. So, our first 2-3 weeks of practice are going to be basically that, seeing where they stand, seeing what I have as far as, kids that can hustle, the chemistry, so on and so forth. As just because, you have your 5 best players, maybe that 3rd and 4th player might be somebody else in there because their chemistry is better with the team as a whole, and maybe we need somebody to come as a spark plug off the bench.
I got a curiosity question, and that's scary as when I'm thinking here. But now you got back to sharing athletes. Now there's football. I mean, there's volleyball. I mean, nothing has been played so far. It won't be played this year, and started in the next year. How does that affect you at this moment?
Well, it's interesting you ask that because we're flipping roles, right? I spoke with Damien, our head football coach, and we're switching roles because usually I'm waiting as a basketball coach. You're waiting for those football guys to finish up so they can come and play basketball. So you're taking those first 3 or 4 or 5 games, and you're getting through them without those players. It's a lot of times in a small town, those players are some of your better players. This year it's going to be flipped around. We're going to be he's going to be waiting for kids to finish basketball to get into the football season, and we're going to try and do as much fundamentals and as much conditioning that is kind of crossed over as we possibly can.
Well, one thing I know this, we haven't discussed it, and I know you, and I've watched you raise your son and your daughter, is that it's just not about sport. It's about getting your grades done, and I know that's going to be one of your biggest fundamentals that you're going to teach.
Well, and I think, to be honest with you, I think it's a huge struggle these days. The difficulty is as you know, I work with a lot of school districts, and I know a lot of people in education, and you know, this virtual classroom and stuff. The kids are struggling. They're struggling to get their work done. They're struggling to stay attentive, and so on and so forth. So, you know, we're going to hopefully come in and be able to create an opportunity to tell the kids, hey, you know, this is kind of the wave of the future. Let's make sure that you're eligible, because if you're not eligible, you can't play here. And I know that, you know, even coming in, we have some kids that are struggling education-wise, and we're going to jump on that right away. And you need, you know, the kids need to realize that you don't, not only at the high school level, but at the next level, and in life, if you don't take care of that education first, then you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle throughout, not only in basketball or football or whatever have you.
Well, and like I said, I've you know, you become a good friend of mine, and but the other part is you're a father figure too. You're going to be you're really great with people and being more of a sounding board. I know you've talked with me and we've had great conversations, but it's exciting for me to be able to give your knowledge and your experiences to these young people in Socorro.
Well, and I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to that, just simply because, and kind of like Steve, you know, you indicated that about my kids. I've always told my kids, and I'll tell my players, you can come to me with anything. Tell me anything, and we'll work it out. At the end of the day, though, just as I've told my kids, I'm not your friend, I'm your father. You know, I tell my players, and I always have, I'm your coach, not your friend. And even though as your coach, I'm going to do everything I can for you, and I'll be here whenever you need me. Realize that there's also consequences to any actions you take that are against the rules or against our team concept. You know, not staying eligible, cheating, so on and so forth. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to that. And I know Damien's drilled that into these football players' minds, and Michael O'Gean, who's my cousin, has done that with the girls soccer team. So I know that there's a good foundation in Socorro, and hopefully I'm able to build on it. Well,
JJ, hey, thanks for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and good luck with your team and your new endeavor.
Thank you, Steve, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
All right.